Hey there, everyone. That sexy nerd is coming at you again. And we're watching a new Rockstars episode for She-Hulk. Yeah. So, I think my episode is finally being able to be shown on YouTube. So, yay me. And I hope you all check it out. So, in honor of you all hopefully checking it out, I'm gonna do the next. I'm gonna do the new rock stars for it right now, so you can just watch it right after the episode. Uh, so yeah, again, I liked the first episode. There were some things that I had problems with, as I laid out in my first episode, in the review, in the reaction to it. Yeah, especially I had a lot of problems with the last fight at the end. It just kind of seemed a little chopped up and wishy-washy and everything just kind of solved itself a little bit. But the episode has me intrigued. She-Hulk is hot no matter how bad the CGI is. I'm not sure, because sometimes the CGI, again, like the CGI looks really good, but then the CGI looks really bad. I don't get it. It's so inconsistent. But let's see what New Rockstars has to say about it. And remember, please like and subscribe if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content. Now let's do this thing, y'all.
Back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemens, and while Voss was busy falling in love and getting married, lucky, he asked me to help break down the She-Hulk series for you. This first episode is so fun and funny, and I didn't know cousins could be so close. I have a ton of cousins, but we hate each other. Every time we're together, we just fight. Let's just break down this first episode shot by shot. Take a look at all the MCU Easter eggs and details we missed.
Think about it though. If your cousin had something that only they could rely on you, like I know one of my cousins would come by and be like, "Yo, man, you're the only one who can solve this." Yeah.
Voss, I promise to keep this business and professional, and I won't bark for She-Hulk. Let's get into it. The Marvel Studios title card has now been updated with a shot of Our Lady Thor from Thor Love and Thunder, replacing what was last seen as Rocket. And then they put back on the M after Thor Love and Thunder my Jordan-wearing, dragon-riding Shang-Chi from Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. We open to a close-up of Jennifer Walters giving what at first feels like her audition tape for She-Hulk, but she's actually practicing her closing argument in her office. We have a little clip right here.
What is the responsibility of those with power? Do they merely have an obligation to refrain from...
That's what I really like about this actress actually playing her. She really pulls out the lawyer aspect and everything, you know? Like, I don't know, it's just when She-Hulk is represented, you don't see Jennifer Walters that much, and I'm glad to see Jennifer Walters herself more in the role.
Misuse of that power? Or do they have a duty to protect those without it?
Okay, so this opening perfectly reflects what we'll see between lawyer Jennifer Walters, just wanting to be an anonymous lawyer, and She-Hulk, icon, superhero, public figure extraordinaire, who at times in the comics has been known to use her name and presence unjustifiably. I mean, who wouldn't? You're a Hulk. As she practices, the camera pans out and we slowly get a full view of Jen's very 30 lawyer-like office. She's a busy woman and she works hard for the money.
I work hard for the money.
The lawyery type female-driven show is already presenting itself, and I stand for it. We see some books: Barron's Business Law, Courtroom 101, her encyclopedias, Badass Women by Rachel Walsh and Bill O'Neill. I suspect that's a picture with her uncle. Seeing as the stylized credits, we see a courtroom illustration of her family at dinner, and that man resembles the bald-headed glasses-wearing fellow. We have a bobblehead of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Michelle Obama, a little Ally McBeal, the graduating Barrington Wisdom Class owl, along with another little owl below. Owls and lawyers have similar connections. They're intelligent, wise, efficient, they're nocturnal, plus they're just birds of prey, so they're recognized as the animals who represent a lot of law schools and departments. A ton of UCLA swag, along with her 2 degrees from UCLA. We're introduced to her 2 colleagues: the cheery, supportive best friend, Nikki Ramos, played by Ginger Gonzaga, the paralegal who's basically a lawyer trainee. They provide support to the lawyers, they can interview clients and witnesses and prepare documents for court. They're still very important folks. And underwhelmingly unsupportive Dennis Bukowski, played by Drew Matthews. Dennis in the comics was the assistant district attorney alongside Jennifer Walters, and they both hated each other. He was obnoxious and super annoying. I mean, just look at him. Behind Dennis, we get a nice framed photo of the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles. If you forgot, this takes place in Cali, let me remind you. Behind Nikki, we get the traditional brass justice weighing scales, which is completely for Jen doing law with no connection to Moon Knight. Khonshu, can you hear me? I'll be your vessel. We see Jennifer Walters, deputy district attorney, on her front door. Our girl is a prosecutor with her own office. The deputy district attorneys commonly work under the district attorney. This is also when Nikki mentions Jen was handpicked to go up against GLKH. And what we know from the trailers up until this point is 1, GLKH stands for Goodman, Lieber, Kurtzberg, Kurtzberg and Holloway, which is an homage to Martin Goodman, the founder of Atlas Comics that later became Marvel, Lieber for Stan Lee's real last name, and Kurtzberg for Jack Kirby's formal last name, and Holloway, who is for Holden Holloway, the attorney at GLKH that hires She-Hulk to be the face of the firm's new superhero law division. And 2, they are prosecuting GLKH.
CGI.
That means this is probably a test by Holden to see Jen, aka She-Hulk, really at work. During the comics, Holloway offered the job to an intoxicated She-Hulk in a bar, but he always tested her limits and expected a lot from her. He could be testing her right now with Titania. We see a second pair of clothes, suit, jacket, and bottoms to cover Jen in case she hulks out. Additionally, a lot of lawyers keep extra clothes at their office for all-nighters, but I'm sure Jennifer has also learned her lesson from ripping out of her clothes. This is when Jen breaks the fourth wall. It's so satisfying. Not only have we seen similar scenes like this in Fleabag, I have to. That's my Fleabag tattoo. Saved by the Bell, even Deadpool. This gag is comedy stage media gold, separating fact from fiction. It shows that they don't take themselves too seriously, but also can give us, the audience, much more information. My years in theater and improv have led to this moment. We transition to Bruce and Jen's trip driving through the woods of California. It's playing Money on It by Together Pangea, a band based out of Santa Clarita, California. This episode oozes California 30-something-year-old regardless, but the added music is sort of an indie Cali vibe, so a mini bonus. We find out Bruce has been able to stay in human form because he created the device called the Inhibitor, though keep in mind it hasn't fully helped him heal. We saw him wearing it in Shang-Chi, and head writer Jessica Gao has confirmed that this now takes place a little after Shang-Chi. We've seen variations of the Inhibitor before. In Captain Marvel, the Kree created a photon inhibitor to control Captain Marvel's cosmic powers. In X-Men, the Inhibitor collar was in Days of Futures Past. Also in Deadpool 2, they used the collars to neutralize the mutants' powers. Inhibitor simply means to slow down or prevent a particular chemical reaction, which I believe ultimately Smart Hulk is doing to stay in Bruce form. Eating hot Cheetos with chopsticks is, I kid you not, the only way I'll eat them, and for the same exact reason. You don't want to get it on your fingers. Also, let us not forget who started this trend, Moon Knight. When Jen said, "You're not the only genius in the family," Bruce retorts,
"No, there's also Chet."
At the end, we get to a montage of courtroom illustrations. This one says mom, dad, aunt, uncle, and cousin. I assume that Chet is the cousin. The uncle is wearing glasses. Mom and dad are on the right, so that leaves one of these last women as the aunt. This could be Cassandra Pike from the comics. Jen's aunt on her dad's side. She's a biologist and won a Nobel Prize for biology. She's also pretty evil in the comics. She tries to kill her brother and niece She-Hulk using her son, in this case Ched, after giving him injections to become a giant monster. So the quotes around aunt could stem from an unhappy relationship between the two. Like us, Jen has some theories. Truly, all her theories are whether or not Steve Rogers had sex and when, which, don't worry, we'll get into because the mid-credit scene is a doozy. We get a glimpse of the Sakaar ship. We later learn specifically it's a Sakarian Class A courier craft, a postman if you will, or someone serving a subpoena to Bruce, possibly. This could be from the Grand Master. The ship in Thor Ragnarok, the Commodore, looked exactly like this. Either way, this ties to Thor Ragnarok, and I bet they're looking for their top-tier fighter after stealing the prize ship from the Grand Master. Or we could be getting into World War Hulk and Skaar, son of Hulk. After the Illuminati sent Hulk into space away from Earth for being too reckless, he landed on Sakaar, creating a home there, even finding love and a wife. The ship he arrived on explodes, killing his pregnant wife and a lot of people in the city he made. He goes to Earth, storms up a bunch of chaos, and kills a ton of folks. It's revealed the child didn't actually die. He emerged from a cocoon. Skaar is super sick, super hardcore, but I just don't think that major scene would be played out in She-Hulk, but you let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Okay.
Where in the comics she was shot and we got a blood.
Okay, so I just had a thought. Haven't they established Sword yet? So how are they able to get through Nick Fury and the Skrulls or whatever the hell was going on at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home? Because that was the last time we saw any of that. That's the last time we actually saw Nick Fury, right? I that can't be. That's really weird. Or these people forgot their own continuity. Watch them forget about that whole situation when they finally introduce Sword.
Transfusion from Bruce, that changed Jennifer to She-Hulk. This is technically another type of blood transfusion, just not as thorough. This is great to note how strong Bruce's blood is, which yes, we already knew, but the fact that like most viruses die on a hint of mass oxygen, this clearly does not, and it can impair someone by a teaspoon's worth, be it the leader whose brain started acting weird in Incredible Hulk, or Blonsky, who with an already petri dish of other concoctions turned into Abomination. Though Hulk's blood isn't the be-all end-all superhero drug, the amount of gamma radiation in it is still lethal, so where it worked for She-Hulk seems seeing as they share the rare genetic factor, it makes sense it would work on her. Shoot, it maybe works on her mom, but don't bet on any normal civilian every time. We get the sad shot of Jen, now She-Hulk, outline reflection on the green crushed door and her silhouette as she backs up and runs away into the forest like a crazed werewolf. This scene is so funny to me. The transformation scenes in most movies are. She awakens at Ideal Sports Bar. Very funny name for a sports bar.
Ideal
and also
Sports
a real
Bar.
sports bar in Atlanta, Georgia. And Cricket's
Really?
Rocks on Gas. In the MCU, the Roxxon Corporation has been seen in Loki during the storm. In the first Iron Man, they fought near the Roxxon Corporation building. In Agent Carter, it's revealed that they created the atomic bomb based on the formula by Howard Stark. In She-Hulk comics, She-Hulk prosecutes them when Danger Man accidentally falls into a vat of hard atomic water on the job. Roxxon is a huge, powerful petroleum industrial company, and they usually do a lot of shady stuff in the comics.
Yeah.
Jen sneaks past the bouncer in the hallway. There's a sign that reads Ladies Night. When you actually use the QR code, it takes you to the Marvel website that offers you the first issue of She-Hulk free to read, along with some special promotion. Additionally, in the bathroom, there's some lovely graffiti. We have the Miss Marvel lightning bolt, which is funny because if this takes place during 2024, Miss Marvel takes place sometime in 2025, who pre-drew this? And in California, no less. Possibly someone anticipating the arrival of Miss Marvel. Someone like Kang, who we will see in Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. That'll probably take place in California. Kang just stopped by this dive bar and on his way to Northern California and straight up graffitied the crap out of it. We see Rest in Peace.
Yeah, he was like, "You, Miss Marvel, you're the one who kills me at the end." Imagine that's a call. Imagine if that actually happens.
He's Biggie for Biggie Smalls, if you don't know. Don't Stop, Get It, used in tons of songs, but I think its origins are by Luke, I Wanna Rock. I know this because Two Live Crew remixed it. Don't listen to either if you're under 18. A Little Spider, Nod to Spider-Man. If you sprinkle when you tinkle, be a sweetie, wipe the seedy. And then the infamous Sword of Anarchy symbol, infamous 420 with a peace sign and a zero. Not a single Thanos is right in sight. It's ladies' night, and what's ladies' night without a bunch of ladies helping ladies in the bathroom? I can't tell you how.
Yeah, okay. Think about that. Why would anybody say that Thanos is right? Not only do the people experience, well, I mean, yes, I'm sure there are many stupid people, as there are in our real world. Ugh. But I'm sure a lot more people would not be saying Thanos is right. They probably would be like, screw that guy.
How many ladies' nights I've been to where it becomes a drunk girl's night out in the bathroom. Those people become my best friends immediately, just like these helpful bunch, played by Monica Garcia Bradley, Tiffany Denise Hobbs, Tony Bryce, and Ariana Marie Hagen. I love these Atlanta queens, and I'm so happy they're showcasing supportive women, just women helping women. We need that. She-Hulk donned a Led Zeppelin t-shirt, and I think those are swim trunks. We can assume these are Tony's clothes, seeing as Tony loved rock and roll. The Black Sabbath t-shirt, in the first Iron Man, he's in a small truck with soldiers listening to AC/DC's Back in Black. He listens to AC/DC a lot. Plus, they're on the coast of Mexico at a beach house.
Boy,
You need
Tony
trunks, my
coming
dude.
back.
These little glimpses and reminders he'll never be forgotten tear me apart in the show.
Tony.
As Jen walks out to this beautiful, rich beachfront estate, we see some little Tony Hulk treasures, like the Iron Legion armor droid helmet from Age of Ultron. I suspect this is the helmet Ultron is for.
Some other people are saying that that's Tony's armor from Avengers Endgame. I'm like, have you not been paying attention to these movies at all?
Seen wearing. It matches the degree of damage. In the movie, they also remove their mask when the machine laser beamed their eyes, so I'm thinking it's just the junk pieces from that moment. Behind her, peep the subtle helmet there. That's Hulk's helmet he wore in the ring during Thor Ragnarok. It's insane he still has it. It's also not the only piece of swag brought back from Sakaar, I suspect, but we'll get back into that in just a moment. We also see a sand hourglass, some boats, driftwood art, maybe for the sandy beach aesthetic. It's definitely their relaxed spot. Tony Stein's bunker is insane. This is where Bruce spent the 18 months fixing himself. Look at all the Stark equipment, the similar gear used to monitor Hawkeye in Age of Ultron when he was getting new tissue. In the first Iron Man, the gear behind him when he's asking Pep to take out his heart. As Voss said in the trailer breakdown, we see the X-ray of Jen's brain. We have different vials of Jen's green blood lying around. While she was out, he was able to get blood, X-rays, literally everything. We also see the schematics of the inhibitor behind him. This slow zoom when Jen mentions she's changed, realizing she's a Hulk, is so fun, and for the visual storytelling enhances the emotion of the scene. And I love when movies do it, like we're creating the same chaotic realization for both the character and the audience. It's also so dramatic, unnecessarily dramatic. We find out that Jen and Bruce share a rare combination of genetic factors, so like I said earlier, what would have been a lethal dose for most was not for Jen. Jen's blood is slightly different. The way it synthesizes gamma radiation was able to fully heal Bruce's arm. When channeling a distressed emotion, Jen offers Pixar's Inside Out. The scene, spoiler, when Bing Bong dies, he dies, okay? It's traumatic. Who's your friend that likes to play? I can't listen to it. We also see the Saw's Stark industry, and Jen's right. What psycho has this torture bunker?
Do you normally use this chamber for you psychopath?
Don't you just love how How he smiled as soon as she said psychopath. That's really funny.
When Bruce says casually how he changes back to Bruce form is by falling out of a plane like in the first Avengers, or he gets knocked out by a robot as Tony as Hulkbuster, or Natasha would tell him a lullaby both in Age of Ultron. Hey big guy, sun's getting real low. He mentions his time on Sakaar, him being stuck as Hulk for 2 years during Thor Ragnarok. All these callbacks are worth going back and watching because I just love them. Dialectical behavior therapy is a psychotherapy that started with treating personality disorder and interpersonal conflict. In this case, definitely being a Hulk. And a reminder, Hulk participated in yoga to help him in Incredible Hulk. He mentions Jen reverts back to Jen form when she sleeps, which is also what she did in the comics in very funny ways. Like when she wakes up from having men over and has to revert back before they notice. If stress and high heart rate changes you into Hulk form, it would make sense when you're unconscious you revert back to your normal self. The song playing is Fast Motion by my girl Sweet Tea. She's active in this video, sprinting, playing soccer, football, cheerleading. It's all about the hype and hard work, just like what Bruce got Jen about to be doing, effortlessly I might add. Get ready for these lady pump-up jams. Let's go through the physical skills he teaches Jen. I love their competitive nature, but also that boulder that Hulk just tossed is gonna be a meteor to some poor ship or planet. His infamous Hulk jump or leap, if you will. We've seen it done many a times in Age of Ultron when he saves Natasha or when he saves Tony mid-fall in the first Avengers movie. What I love about this scene is where a smart Hulk is taking this seriously, Jen is like, this is easy, and makes fun of him the complete time. Balance. In yoga, which Jen is now a full-fledged pro at.
This Hulk ground pound, which to me, Jen looks much better at, just saying.
Bruce says,
Jen, when you have powers like this, it's like putting a target on your back and the backs of all the people you care about.
Which is so true. I know she's upset at this point, but in the comics, this is how her best friend died. In 1980 run of She-Hulk, Jill Stevens offered to help all the time when it came to her best friend Jennifer Walters. At a neighbor's barbecue, Jen got a call to come pick up some stuff from the DA's office. Jill offered to pick it up instead. Once she left, they realized it was a trap, and unfortunately, they cut Jen's brake lines in the car, and in a horrible collision, Jill died. Jill does resemble Nikki Ramos in She-Hulk series, but I don't think it's her, and I don't want it to be her. But for story purposes, it might be good if she dies. Smart Hulk is making the world's largest martini, and like Steve Rogers, it takes too much to get these two drunk. And cool, you'll always be buzzed but never drunk. I drink to get drunk, you guys. Also, this sounds so expensive. Is it even worth it? From a later shot, there's about 30 empty bottles. Yes, some are wine bottles, but regardless, if each bottle is 20 bucks, give or take, that's around $600 wasted. Okay, I'm done being irritated, but this logically just doesn't make sense, and I want them to stop. It's a waste of money. Whatever. Behind Hulk is a Hulk piñata, perhaps a souvenir from the celebration of Hulk on Sakaar. They had the helmet earlier, we saw the ship, we're keeping Sakaar on the back burner always. Later, we see a different angle from the bar where we see another cutout of Hulk. Smug Hulk, am I right? We see the initials BB for Bruce Banner and TS for Tony Stark carved into the bar. Bruce gets into the time he spent with Tony creating the bar, which was during the blip. And it's sad to reminisce, but I think we're getting to a spot in the MCU when thinking of Tony shouldn't make you sad you lost him, but happy at the memories they got to make with him. A good time during a hard time, which She-Hulk is adjusting to as well. We get the Hulk thunderclap. We last saw him using this in Incredible Hulk. This move extinguished fire, turned boulders to rubble, smacks the crap out of your foes. The thunderclap shockwave destroyed, and it's fun seeing both Hulk and She-Hulk using it, though She-Hulk feels like a thunder applause. Thank you, I'll be here all night. Jen breaks the fourth wall again, this time as She-Hulk, but this time Hulk hears her. And maybe she'll start to recognize you can't just do that anywhere. Like in Fleabag, people notice. And in Fleabag season 2, the priest interacts with her, interacting with the camera. He acknowledges it a lot, so perhaps later down the line, we can see someone close to her recognizing what she's doing. Just added fun. Jen is now carving her name into the rebuilt bar, now called Bruce's Bar. The two have settled down and enjoy their hot Cheetos with chopsticks. I think it's cute that Hulks are party size. Again, his metabolism is hefty. He's always eating small amounts. The tiny tacos in Endgame, the party-sized bag of chips. Just get this man a damn buffet. Am I allowed to curse in this? We pan out of the shot from the courtroom illustrator to see GLKH giving their closing statements to Judge Price, who we see in the recent trailers and recognize as being transformed into an Asgardian-type elf. So if that's still Judge Price is beyond me right now, but the defendant is played by Brandon Hirsch. We also get our first look at Holden Holloway, played by Steve Coulter. Titania is seen busting through the courtroom, played by Jamila Jamil. Titania in the comics has hated She-Hulk from basically the jump because she wins time and time again one-on-one with She-Hulk. But I suspect with the other trailer footage where we see Titania everywhere, she was hired to break through the courtroom so they could see Jennifer Walters change to She-Hulk. Like I said earlier, I think it was all orchestrated by Holden Holloway, who is a shady fucking man. Should I try saying shady man? Keep the F out? You can blur it. We'll bleep it. Jen punches Titania into next week and she slips her heels back on, ready to give her closing statement to a damn classic by Eve, Who's That Girl? It's such a bop. Basically the song announcing the Queen Bee has just arrived and you're all gonna wonder who she is. In the credits, we see a courtroom-like illustration montage, one of which is a board-like presentation by Jen to Hulk at Bruce's bar, piecing together whether or not Captain America is a virgin. Links to Peggy Carter, a faceless woman, and then what we can expect is a USO showgirl. And so let's get into this. Jen, fake drunk, gets smart Hulk to spill some beans on Steve Rogers being a virgin. They even call back to the gorgeous Steve Rogers' butt.
Did you see that ass? Like, that ass did not deserve to die virgin.
It's revealed he does indeed get down. He lost his virginity to a girl in 1943 on the USO tour. Now, Jen's presentation may lead you to believe it was a USO dance girl, but I think that she thinks that the unnamed 1940s girl was either a dancer or a random woman. I think it's Laura Haddock, aka the autograph seeker in Captain America's first movie, aka Star-Lord's mom. Laura Haddock played Meredith Quill as well. The two roles are not related at all, I don't think. Meredith Quill was born in 1961. This girl was an adult by the 40s. But come on, the scene's...
Wouldn't it be weird if Captain America was technically Star-Lord's grandfather? Awkward.
Too on the nose. They definitely hooked up. I mean, I would.
I don't know, man. It's probably riding the high off of that, that Captain America joke. Hopefully they keep us entertained and everything. But yeah, that whole thing just opened up a whole new world of possibilities, didn't it? I can't wait. Again, I can't wait for the next episode. I'm gonna get it to you as soon as it comes out, hopefully. And tonight is House of the Dragon, and man, I cannot wait. Probably going to take a little while for me to release it, but bear with me, and hopefully it'll be out by Tuesday, depending on how long it takes me to edit it. But until then, this has been That Sexy Nerd Reacts. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more sexy yet nerdy content, and I'll see you all in the next video.